Hey everybody, welcome to the community chat. Hope you like our new intro. You guys started without us. There's already all these comments going on. So nice to see you. Thank you for spending your Monday night with us. Today we're going to be talking about, does spirituality make life better? Like, is there a purpose to all this stuff that we're doing? We're only interested in the idea of connecting to something higher, if it's making tangible differences for people. So what I want to know from all of you is, does your spiritual practice, do Swedenborg's ideas, does whatever you hold close to your heart, how does it make your life better? Because it's got to in some way. And everybody, if you want to, where are you? Who are you? You know, I want to get a sense of like who's watching and from where. So Justine just said, welcome everyone, excited for the show this week. It gets me through the start of my night shifts. And there we have something. This is a way that it makes life better. So you've got a lot of work ahead of you and something about how does it help you get through that? Is it just the nature of the topics? Is it the feeling of community? What are we doing for you and how? Hey everybody. Hi Lily. Hey Sharon. Hey Gerald. Cosmic says, hi Philip, this is my first time I made it on too. Welcome. We're so glad to have you in the community chat. Everybody, Katrina, Keith, hey, how you doing? Jerry from Washington State, and we got Matthew from Hobe Sound, Florida. Katrina's from South Carolina. Just getting together a little sense of that we're all over right now, all over the United States. Philip says Curtis has an amazing heart. It shines. That's probably sarcastic, but I appreciate it. Anyway, Philip. Oh, Philip's in Sydney. There you go. We got Arlington, Texas, West Memphis. Okay, Donna Bratt says, yes, helps me focus on positive and also understand others better. Oh, Justine liked the intro. But this is important, what Donna said, that understanding other people better, because isn't that something we need a little bit of in the world? And these spiritual concepts are doing that for you. We got someone from Phoenix. We got somebody from outer space, Katrina. So Sandra says, it helps me so much. My children have noticed a change, and my youngest daughter, who had anxiety and short-tempered, has made leaps and bounds by me setting an example. Okay, so there you go. Not only is it giving you some kind of life change, but it is actually enough that it's changing someone else's life and your daughter. So that's amazing. That's good medicine, right there. As Philip says, not sarcastic at all. I know. I just say stuff like that. I'm just kidding. Tuning in from South Africa. We have John tuning in from South Africa. Lily is from Scotland. So we're starting to fill out our map a little bit. Stockholm, Sweden. Middle of the night here. Well, Jonas V. I never know how to pronounce anyone's name. What got you up in the middle of the night to hang out on our show here? So I'd love to hear from that. Montreal, the UP of Michigan. Lily, I'm sending love right back to you. Thanks so much. Oh, Mary's from Ohio. So that's a big part of it, the love and the sharing of love, right? And Michelle says, more patient and forgiving. So somehow we're cultivating these really desirable qualities in the human heart. So that's awesome. Harlan's from Central California. Oh, another one from Stockholm, Sweden, Dark Swede 1. That's pretty cool. A couple of from Swedenborg's home country. Keith says, my employees have noticed and are very happy with the new me. So something must be going right if even the people at work are like, you notice what got into the boss? Like he's like cool now. Okay, an angel shining, and I realize I can see things a little before they pop up on your screen here, so you just got to, here it comes. Swedenborg has given me so much hope. I had a bad experience with religion after 26 years in the church, came here after studying near-death experiences, saw Howard Storm, we did an interview with him, and never left. I learned so much every time. So this is sort of a reconnection with, there's something in the spirituality religion thing that you like, but you couldn't quite get it somewhere else. Lillian says, hi Curtis, love your show, love coming to you. Hey Lillian, great to have you here with us. Justine says, it's knowing that all this hard work is worth it. I work in healthcare, so it helps me put more love and empathy into my work. It has helped me to offer hope to people as they near their transition. So there you go, some knowledge about, hey, there's something beyond it. That affects how we live our last couple of moments here. And this is awesome, and I feel like I'm hogging this. I mean, this is such cool stuff. I want to share it with someone. Swedenborg says that joy is only real in heaven when it can be shared with someone else. So to give you a piece of heaven, I want to share my joy with none other than Dr. Jonathan Rose. If you wouldn't mind coming in, he's going to be a special guest here with us today. Thank you. Thank you, you want to scooch over a little bit so that people can see you? Hey, we got somebody from Germany. Everybody. So I don't know if you could hear from where you were sitting right off screen, but we were talking about what does this whole spirituality thing do? What does it give us? And we're just seeing some potent examples. And as we continue to look through those, I want to hear about yours too. Oh, Super Chat. Don't forget about Super Chat. If you guys want to donate to this program and to the community, there's a little $ by where you write in your comment, and we'd be so grateful if you support what we're doing. Matt says, Matt from Ohio, Emmanuel Swedenborg off the left eye clears up so much doubt and confusion. Inspirational. Keep it up. So we got doubt, confusion, remedy, inspiration. This is the kind of stuff everyone's looking for. So there's got to be something in those concepts that's lifting to the spirit. And Carolyn Norton says it's good to know that our loved ones are okay. So talk for a little bit, man. How is this striking you? Just hearing people talk about it. How are these Swedenborg's concepts affecting you? You know, what's it all about?
It's very inspirational, and I haven't thought that life in this world is kind of difficult. Sometimes called the veil of tears. You know, you go through loss, you go through stuff, and that's hard enough. And it's not that these kind of concepts take all that away. They just kind of reframe it in a way, I think. You know what I mean? And it can be difficult sometimes to be on this journey, but the fact that it pays off for other people, it's almost other people who get it more.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Like it's having a positive effect on others. So
it's a tough audience here. Cool. Angel Shining says, love Jonathan Rose, could listen to him all day and night. And Keith Curry.
Super chat.
Yeah, thank you. We got some more buddies in here who'll be on in a minute. Thanks so much, Keith, for supporting the program. He says, I love it when the two of you are on together. Okay. This sounds pretty good. At least it's not people saying like, when will these two get off screen? Dark Sweet One says, hi, Jonathan. Looking great. Lily K, you guys are the best hosts. Love you. I mean, you know, they're being as nice as possible. I mean, we look pitiable, you know, so yeah, exactly. That I really do think there is something to what you were saying before about the ability to help somebody makes your own pain feel like it was worth it. People will they go through something and they end up championing the foundation that tries to prevent that thing from happening. And I do know it does feel like sometimes that's the only thing that feels like a remedy, you know, and that's very much in line with what Swedenborg says. Yeah, that's right. And it's so comforting, for one thing, just in terms of loss of somebody, to have that idea that someone's somewhere, they're still themselves. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they're thriving in a different kind of environment and everything. And there's just that sort of cutoff between us in terms of most sensory input or something, but they're still somewhere. They still love you. You love them and everything. So love doesn't die. Yeah. And that's right. It's not going to take, it's not like if you believe in an afterlife, you're not going to be sad when somebody dies. I think that there's just this heartbreaking thing. There's a level of us that never understands that, but it does reframe it it's a different feeling. You're grieving the separation and the sadness of that they're not going to get to live their life with you, the potential for life that you would see them here, but you're not grieving the entire existence of that human being. Right. Yeah. And the idea that nothing takes God by surprise kind of thing, you know what I mean? A lot of things seem random in this world. That's and like, there was a mistake, you know, what happened? But realizing, no, it's all known and understood. Right. It's so heartwarming just to know how much this is reaching people. It's really absolutely awesome. Hey, Autumn and Mary Richards, give a little super chat there. Thank you so much. So Sandra says the Spiral Show is so inspirational. That was a great one. That was one of our more, I think that's the last program that we did. Yeah. I'm an artist for a living, and I took everything you had to heart and just loved it. Loved it. So there you go. Inspiration for the art, right? These concepts, because it's like, there's got to, if you know, people are making art based on the things we see in this world around. So isn't there got to be some kind of inspiration for things from the other side, or right? The other world? And for me, all of the shows have some kind of impact on me. You know, I'm learning as we go through it. But that one really changed my whole view of what we're doing. You know, I mean, it was amazing how impactful that show was. That's right. For all of you out there, like we learn by doing this program, and in other people, Chelsea Carr and the people who are writing, like as we dig into these topics, we see them in new ways we never did before. It is Cosmic says, I listen to these vids, spiritual topics, to help me when I can't relax to sleep. And that's not the first person who said, that's true. This stuff helps me go to sleep, which I think is important. You know, I know that if I'm trying to relax, I want something where I know there's not going to be any alien concepts, like things that are going to disturb me or attack me somehow, but it's more like it's all friends. It's all friends. It's all friends. Hey, speaking of friends, we have a couple of friends that are going to join us today. Hey, Justine Feeney gave us $20 in Canadian. Thank you so much, Justine. Thank you for your confidence in what we're doing and that it's something good. And so to hear a little bit more from from people who have experienced it. We've got our buddy Craig, who I think we're going to invite on right now.
Nice.
Craig, if you would be willing, Craig is going to sit down right here. He's from Michigan. Let's give him a round of applause.
Hey, Craig.
So Craig, so nice to see you here. Thanks for coming on, man. This is Dr. Jonathan Rose. I think you've met him before. So I just wanted to hear. So you've been hearing a little bit about people talking here in the chat about how this means something to their life. It's doing something for them, and I just want to hear what does it mean to you? What does the Swedenborg's ideas mean to you? What is the channel? What are your own spiritual practices? How's this making life better?
Sure
So you want to fill us in a bit?
Sure. Thanks for having me on.
Oh man, our pleasure.
So that's a kind of a tough one. It's you can go a lot of different directions, and
That's right.
one thing that occurs to me is if you asked me yesterday or last week or last month, I'd probably be thinking of some other way that the books of Swedenborg have inspired me and that changed my life.
Right. Hey, Sandra, we're going to give her a little clap for it too. But that's such a good point that it changes as you grow.
Absolutely. So, sometimes you're affected by the things that you see in the news, and you're trying to figure out where do I go with it. And of course, you want to tap into the things that you've learned from Off the Left Eye and from the books of Swedenborg. And one thing that's been troubling me a little bit lately is this idea that when we have differences of opinion, whether they're political or whether they're religious, whatever the foundation for it is, when people get so sure that they're right, that differences in how we approach things, whether it's faith-based or whatever it is, can lead to conflict. And it can play out on the world stage, and it can make it can hurt people in a lot of different ways. So how do I go to my faith? And what would my faith tell me how to deal with the differences? Right,
because there's no sense of, even though we don't agree, we can still be friends. It's like it's my way or the highway, right? So how do you get around that, right?
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that I've been very grateful for in the books of Swedenborg is the fact that it's not just that differences are tolerated. I think the differences are essential.
Yeah.
And we definitely get that. There's a lot of, and you've had some programs on this very idea. The one that comes to mind is the idea that heaven is constructed like a grand man.
Yes, right.
And, it's made up of all these cells. We can think of those cells as being ourselves.
Yeah.
And they're very different in their function. They approach things completely differently from each other. And yet, the more cells they are forming these completely different functions and approaching them so differently from each other, the more perfect the whole gets.
Yeah, absolutely, right. Absolutely. And that's right. If you had all liver cells, you'd end up with a big pile of liver. You wouldn't have a human being. You couldn't do things like go and walk and do shows and make super chats. Thank you, Angel Shining, so much. She says it's the least I can do besides sending people here. We really appreciate it. And people just do what you can when you can, and we're all having a great time. Sharon Spruill says, because someone else said evening Swedenborg nerds, and someone else said Swedenborg nerd, that's a label I can wear. Or Sharon Spruill said that, which is I need to get a shirt that says Swedenborg nerd. That would be awesome. Okay, so that's such a good point. I wonder, John, if you had a sort of a reaction to that.
Yeah, I find it one of the most beautiful thoughts that there's a reason why people are different. Every single person, identical twins are different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every single person is different. Family members are different. It doesn't matter how supposedly close you are, genetically or whatever. We're all different, and there's a reason for that. I used to feel sometimes in my life like I was some giant cosmic mistake, or at other times I sometimes felt like, well, there are other family members who are approximately like me. There's no reason to have one of me. I mean, you could just sort of
we got that area
from
covered.
The rest of
That's
the
right. That's right.
But it's such a beautiful thought. No, there's a particular thing. The Lord has some particular thing that He's doing with each person, and so it really sets the context so differently in terms of that kind of thing, of looking for what do they bring to the table? What do I appreciate that's different about this person?
Right. And so you feel like, so Swedenborg's concepts help you look for that and see it and appreciate it.
Absolutely, and I think that underneath all of this is a humility that we're supposed to be building throughout the course of our life. At any given point in time, you can ask me, what's my take on my faith, and I could give you an answer to that. But the point is that we're on a journey. It's a lifelong journey. And so the shape of our faith and how we apply it is supposed to be constantly changing. So why would we necessarily need to be critical that somebody has a different faith?
Yeah.
If they're trying to reach out and find out how God is speaking to them and where is my path, and they're trying to do what God is asking them to do, then we should be applauding that. And in fact, that's why the Lord has so many different ways into his kingdom. He knows that this is really important, that we approach him in different ways.
And by tomorrow afternoon, they may be in a different place.
Absolutely.
Just as we are, you know what I mean? Everybody's sort of work in progress.
You rarely do you think automatically of other people as a dynamic thing. You think that's how they are. But you don't think, oh, they're going to be different in 10 years, just like I'm going to be different in 10 years. It all comes down to, we tend to see ourselves as a fully developed, dynamic, three-dimensional person, but everyone else just sort of like a sticker on the wall. Like,
cut out, yeah.
But I guess like one of the points of Swedenborg and everything is see other people as people just as much as you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I feel like that's something that, as we, I think we start out a little bit, or some point in our life, we have all the answers. And, we can tell our parents we've got it.
Yeah, I had that pretty recently.
Yeah,
but it's gone now.
Don't need anything more. Got all. And so as life goes along, then the idea really is, and I think that this is really built into the teachings of Swedenborg, that we are, he calls it positive doubt, negative doubt. We're not supposed to go toward the negative doubt because that's really got more cynicism and it's not really very useful. But we should, and I don't know that it might be a little bit unusual for somebody to hear that someone who's expounding ideas like Swedenborg, that built right into the ideas is always be turning them over, turn the box this way, turn it this way, ask questions.
Does it make sense? And
continue to develop it, and with that lack of, I'm absolutely sure.
Yeah.
The humility is building with it, which means listening skills are improving.
And you're right, baked right in there, because Swedenborg says at one point that even in the spiritual world, when somebody's taught a truth, they're given the falsity at the same time, just so that they can weigh it and they're not instantly convinced that your own journey of figuring it out is so crucial. And that's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing that he's saying that. You know?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's I think it's an essential ingredient to, and again, I think that you also mentioned in one of your shows these 12 gates to the holy city.
That's right.
Right.
And
hey, let's give Warren Roth a round of applause. Thank you so much. He says supporting great ideas. So that must be, these are Swedenborg's ideas. Got to be good. People are showing up to hear them, and so thank you, Warren, for supporting that. We're glad you feel like they're great. Okay, so 12 gates. I definitely want to hear about this. So there's the city of the New Jerusalem described in the book of Revelation. He makes this point that there's 12 gates. So why that seems like a pretty porous wall? Like why are there so many gates? So what is it all about?
Well, I don't know that I'll do as well as you did on one of the shows in talking about this, but I'll give it my shot.
Yeah.
I just. Whether this is a picture of heaven or approaching God, I think that the idea is that this is heaven. But it's we might have been led to believe at some point in our life that there's only one way, and to get to heaven is a very narrow and difficult.
Yeah.
But
sorry, let me just cut in, because John May is saying, I've had the unfortunate experience of being involved with churches that believed everyone apart from them were going to hell.
Yeah.
By reading Swedenborg, I learned the fallacy of that claim. So
that's
just
really
what you're describing.
Thanks for that, John.
Yes.
And that picture of one gate and everybody's got to get in line or something.
Right. Yeah.
And if you're not coming from that direction, too bad. Yeah.
And you guys also talk about the importance of the number 12.
Yes.
So that can't escape us in here. But the idea of the 12 gates really is that the Lord provides all different kinds of ways for people to get into heaven, and it can be through all different nations and cultures and faiths.
Right.
Again, it's not essential that that I come from this country or that country or this faith or that faith. As long as I'm got my radio tuned into the frequency that God is transmitting, and I'm trying to hear what He has to say and be of service.
That's right.
Those
Basically,
are the
it comes down to
ingredients.
just being a decent person.
Right.
Like
the love first.
Yeah.
Sandra Brewster says, I love how you brought out that angels don't even want to help want to destroy the bad ideas that we have. You said they protect them and help us to recognize why they are bad. That we're not broken in the mind, that even if I believe something firmly that's not an accurate description of reality, it's not like God or angels are like, okay, don't be so dumb, here's the truth. They work with you wherever you are. And they're working with we've all got some false ideas, or mine are probably all false. They're but they're working with me. They're moving me sort of place to place.
So to me, when you sew all that together, it really creates this image of a very loving and merciful God. It's not an exclusive club. He's trying to draw us in any way he can.
That's right. And a tremendously, if we saw the diversity of heaven, I think it would just astonish us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The number of different kinds of people. It'd be very cool.
That no heaven is the same for any one individual, and that can never be to eternity.
Right. So not even the light is the same in different communities. Yeah. The way they see God is different. It's cool.
Perfection. He described perfection is a machine or an organism where all the parts are different, but they work together in harmony. That's how it increases. Hey, Philip Wilker, thank you so much for your donation. Really appreciate it. So that's making me feel good. Just, you're right. The picture of God it paints, that's the only picture of God that can be. I mean, that's got to be how it is. We're talking about how there's lots of different ideas, but they've got to have something of that in it. This God is not just going to only love a little slice of people. I mean, we're all here. We all struggle with. It's hard for all of us to get up early in the morning. We're all going through this life. We're all equally lovable in our own sort of different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I've got another minute, I just want to say one thing about off the left eye.
Sure. Well, we'd always love to hear something. About
off the left eye. We can make some more time for that.
Well, I'm sure the people that are tuned in and watching this would not have any problem agreeing with me. There's a tremendous amount of humor. I'm still thinking about the episode in the kitchen and the bad food in the drawer.
Yes.
The illustrations, the imagery and whatnot, it's really helping to tackle some of these, I'd say, more complex issues and make them tremendously accessible. And one thing I really like about the show, aside from our own experience and how it's helping us to understand concepts, is the idea of being able to share these concepts with people in such a way, number one, that if they don't have a background in Swedenborg, it makes it accessible. Mm-hmm. And number two, by offering to them to tune into this show, I'm not trying to twist their arm. I can do it in the kind of humility that we're talking about here. And they can absorb it, let's say, in complete freedom and say, well, this is for me, this isn't. There's no sense that you have to adopt the whole package, So I think that it's really accessible for people who have not previously been exposed to the
That's great.
The writings of Swedenborg.
Well, it's so good to hear, because that's what we're trying to do. That getting into the ideas are so cool, but there's a lot of packaging. It's tough to get into Swedenborg's books and understand them for what they really mean. To get to that idea you were describing to us, it's like beautiful, loving, open, wise God. You don't necessarily get that when you crack the first page. If you're not familiar with his terms, you can get something can freak you out and you never want to read it again. So I'm just glad that we're able to provide that vehicle to get you to the good stuff.
Right, and I'm also really delighted. I mean, if I understand your life story a little bit, you've been around Swedenborg for a while.
Yes.
And the fact that you've had this in your life, your whole life, and are getting something out of it, still, too, is very exciting. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can be at any end of the spectrum or something. So that's really good. It's not just for somebody for the first 3 days and then you get bored of this and
for sure
move on or
it's
something.
changing constantly. So.
That's cool.
That's great.
Samuel Rhodes says, still waiting on the Swedenborg sitcom. So we're on it. I mean, the market research tells us that's what that's what the world is looking for.
We got market research.
All right, Craig, thank you so much. It was great having you here. Loved getting to hear your insights and your spirit on the whole thing. So it was just great to have you. Absolutely.
Thanks.
We'll be thinking of you in Michigan whenever we're broadcasting, and hope you have a great night. Thanks. All right, so I wanted to point out, there's somebody put up Jen Blossom, a Voltaire quote. Our task is not to get along with perfect people, but imperfect people.
Nice.
Or maybe that's Voltaire. We're not totally sure. But, right?
Yeah, that's right.
It's sort of like Swedenborg talks about the love of self. If you only love people that revere you, that's the same as only caring about yourself.
What it says in the Bible. That's right. You're right. If you're only... Yeah, that's right.
So let's get to a couple of these comments. Is Cosmic says, my problem now is having so much faith and knowing we're infinite, and I lost my favorite person here on earth and want to go rebirth with him. There must be more I am to learn since I'm still here. Exactly. That's right. So it's not like you just get a couple ideas in your head and death doesn't hurt anymore. The separation is painful.
Very, very painful.
No matter what.
And there is some. I've had a similar thought of like maybe there is some work, something to be learned, or some confidence to be gained, or something. Who knows what? Something in there, or some way that you can benefit other people through being compassionate about that situation or whatever it is.
But, and it's a tough one. So hearts out to you.
Yeah.
Keith Curry says, "Hey, I like the song on Patreon." We just put up a little thank you to everyone on Patreon because we hit a financial goal. We recorded something on that piano over there. It's not studio quality. Sharon Spruill says, "I've been reading Emanuel Swedenborg for 30 years, and Off the Left Eye really clarifies concepts for me still."
That's great.
For us as well, because
that's true.
You've read Swedenborg a couple of times.
Yeah,
and you're saying,
that once. Yeah, that's right. A couple of years ago.
You've kind of immersed yourself in it as your livelihood.
Intense weekend. Yeah, right.
And yet, you're still finding new stuff, right?
That's right. When I think about my exposure to Swedenborg, it's really pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like I'm getting a spiritual sunburn because I'm editing his works all day, and then I'm thinking about him at night, and I'm on the show, and all that kind of stuff. I just love it. And it doesn't get old. I mean, I'm still finding, every day I'm finding stuff that just amazes me. So that's part of what, to me, testifies that this stuff is from heaven, because,
doesn't get stale.
To have that depth, it doesn't get stale. No, I feel like I'm just scratching the surface.
I may have told this story on this channel before, but there's a video on this channel called A Day Trip to the Afterlife, which is when I gave the talk on and you helped give me some awesome stuff on time and heaven for that talk. But when I was researching that, I was supposed to just give a basic overview of the afterlife according to Swedenborg. So I was going into the book Heaven and Hell, like this is just going to be basic. And I haven't been reading for as long as you, but I've been reading him for a while and pretty intensively. And I thought, it's Heaven and Hell. I pretty much already know this stuff. But when I felt like I had never read that book before. Everything seemed new. I think it's because the ideas are real. It's not fluff. When you write an essay for school and they're like, hey, you're just trying to fill out so you have 18 paragraphs or whatever. It's not fluff. That each line can often have a very concrete idea, and there's so much that I'll just skim things, but later I'll be like, wait, that's valuable. That's cool.
And I swear, I've edited books. I edited Heaven and Hell and some of the other translations for the New Century Edition. And you go over it and over every word. You can't skip a word. You don't skip a sentence.
Yeah.
Pounding on it.
Yeah.
And then I'll read it, and I swear that wasn't in there before. You know what I mean? Like the most beautiful thing is in there.
Just updates
I swear that wasn't there before.
Philip Wilker says, I think we come to things at a time in our lives when we most need them, whether we realize it or not. I came to Off the Left Eye when I most needed it.
That's so
I think
great.
Love brought me here, and I am grateful. I love the idea of people being able to find this channel, and it's something they were looking for.
Yeah, I know.
Because we just sit here and talk and do stuff and put stuff up. And so it goes that it's just, like somehow the divine is putting something together. Because Swedenborg says all good is from God. So if anything's popping up good on this channel, somehow God is working through it like he works through everything else. And I just love the idea of somebody finding this on the web and being like, oh, this is weird. But then, wait, what is this? This is cool.
Yeah,
I love that.
Right.
I love that.
The tragedy comment there, God uses tragedy for good.
Right.
Accidental death of my wife helped me bring to Off the Left Eye when I was looking for answers about death. Yeah. That's brutal.
So, again, we're not going to be able to take away that experience, and we appreciate you even being able to share that. But if there are ideas in Swedenborg can be any kind of help, then it's what it's all for. It's what it's all for.
That's right.
So I just love you guys sharing and giving us this opportunity. So I wish there was some way to say thank you. And I think the best way we can do it is to put on headphones.
Oh, okay.
You want to try
good
it?
idea. Let's
I mean,
do
the people at home might just like it if we put on headphones.
That's right. That'll be fun.
All right. So
Great.
I feel a little insecure about these headphones right now because they don't look
do
as
you?
cool as yours. But story of my life, right?
Yours are way hipper than mine. These are like old guy
No,
headphones.
come on. All right, and actually, there's a good reason that we put on these headphones because we have our next guest, and she's calling in not from our studio here, but all the way from Florida. Lee is on the line. Lee, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Hey, how's
Hello.
it going?
It's your biggest fan.
Oh, nice. You're the one. Okay.
So good to see you guys.
Cool.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm the stalker.
Okay, good. Well, we're your fans as well, and we thank you so much for coming on. And I just wanted to hear from you. So, how'd you end up being the biggest fan? Like, how did you find Swedenborg? How'd you get into it? Where did the whole thing start, if you wouldn't mind?
Well, so what happened was there was a few experiences I had. I summed it up in a poster for you.
Oh, good.
Oh, wow. You have a visual aid.
I have visual aids. And what I did was I made sort of a book report. I divided it into my top favorite videos, and I narrowed it down to 5.
Oh, cool.
For the audience and time's sake.
Very good.
So I just correlate the videos with how they affected me and how they impacted me. But this really summed it up for me this afternoon.
Sure.
The word freedom just kept ringing. I was playing Off the Left Eye all day.
Yeah.
And you can see it here.
Yeah.
So freedom. Okay.
Can you see it full length? There you go.
Pull it a little back towards you. False beliefs, religion.
There you go.
Ego, evil, doctrine, oppression. Well, what's the bottom one?
We can't quite see the bottom.
Can you pull it up a teeny bit? Misery, illness,
disorder, disease.
Okay, so we got an acronym for freedom. Yeah, and it looks beautiful. I mean,
thanks.
So what does it all mean to you?
Okay, I'll start from the beginning.
Sure.
Here is my intro.
Hey, Swedenborg in Life.
There you go.
I know. I watched that show.
I was in front of my TV and I snapped pictures of you guys, and then I printed them out. And so I actually have my notes on the back. I'm just going to read from those.
Oh, great.
Cool.
Okay.
Good. You're prepared.
So, as I said, I'm from Lee. I'm from Florida, and I'm Lee. And basically, I've been through a lot of experiences over the spectrum, meaning, every kind of different thing that's unexplainable, if you want.
Okay.
I wasn't finding any relief or answers. I decided to stop searching through it in mental health forums and just go full science, how our physical health affects our spiritual health and vice versa. I figured in my head, and of course it's just my viewpoint, if religion and mental health awareness and doctors or groups couldn't explain it, if all else fails, I'll try God,
Last resort, right.
Right.
That's what we should do, right? We should kind of do that backwards maybe. But I'm a hard-headed one, so just God and then just science. I decided to separate it, but then I found out that they have a lot in common after all. This was my first freedom because I wasn't really mathematically inclined or scientifically oriented. I just kind of passed. I passed in school. So a few months ago, I decided I pulled out all my journals and notes, and I decided to just search for keywords. I had kind of given it up, but something was still pulling at me. So it was kind of a joke to me, like, I wonder what information YouTube has about the left eye itself.
Yeah.
My left eye seems to be kind of tricky. I can write with my left hand, but why?
Yeah.
Why is my dominant one right? Like, just simple things that people never really consider asking.
So you're looking for sort of physiological advice on the biology of the eye and stuff.
Right.
Okay.
I just figured
that's awesome.
Maybe that'll lead me somewhere else.
That's right.
So then you guys pop up, and I said, I know it is kind of funny.
Hey, Leanne, Cosmic says thanks. He likes what you're sharing already. So cool.
I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah.
So where was I? Okay. Oh, and I like the symbol.
Yes.
I love symbols and everything. So I said, well, this has to be some cool new age thing. Let me check it out. So I had no idea that your 2-minute clip, it was an introduction of what the left eye is. And most of your stuff, your spiritual experiences occur, they say, in your outer vision.
Mm-hmm.
Or what was that? Did I see a shadow? Or, and it's always to your left. And I never, once that 2-minute thing clicked in, I said, I need to play the next one. So I was on a mission to basically simplify things in my life and just feel better. I mean, everybody out there seems to be kind of miserable.
Yeah.
Everybody's struggling, like you guys just said. And I'd had it. I was done suffering. I was like, let me figure out what I can do. And if I have to start from the beginning of the dinosaur egg, I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it seems worth it. Like, stakes are high enough. If we want to be happy, might as well go after it,
Right. So I started with my mission, and I wasn't familiar with a lot of terminology like out-of-body experiences. I heard of alien abductions, but am I going to go that way?
Right.
I didn't have the correct terminology. And there was a Swedenborg quote that you guys said, even Swedenborg said there wasn't like vocabulary to put it into words. So I was getting a lot of that. I had to consider ideas I hadn't thought of, research things no matter how ridiculous they were, because somewhere in the universe there had to be explanations for my symptoms. I was torn with, do I call a priest or do I call a psychic? Or should I call the president? The time was President Obama. So I'm like, hey, I have some really cool information, but I'm like nobody. So I just wanted to drop a line.
That's right.
There's no.
Can you get this out? Yeah.
There's no dictionary for it. So anyway, I kept your channel on more than anything else in the house. I work from home, and so I would just have it running, constantly in the background. Yeah. Even when I was turning like spiritually, I guess the more spiritual I got, the frequencies of the TV commercials were really grinding on me. Like, I didn't realize what an effect they were having on me.
Yeah.
And then your channel comes on and I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize I could breathe better. It was amazing. I was just like that music. So anyway, I kept your channel on. And then
we'll have to use that. We make you breathe better.
That's right. This may improve respiratory action. Yeah.
Everybody loves oxygen, right?
Hey, yes, we do.
So, when I was sitting on my couch, of course, I'm surrounded by like my books and my notes and my craziness, and everything just seemed okay. I was like, you guys are just having a conversation with me. I'm nodding in unison. So if somebody else was watching us, they'd be like, oh, they're talking, but you never met me.
It's like you
didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would laugh at myself, but then it just sort of flowed.
Videos thing, because I remember everything that's in there. And so maybe.
I put 2 to a page.
Okay. Is it safe to talk to spirit? Can you pull it a little back towards yourself? Okay. Is it safe to talk to spirits and spiritual warfare, the battle between heaven and hell? A couple of Swedenborg Life episodes. Yep.
Okay. So I'll just read it verbatim for now.
Great.
And
Sounds good.
Let it flow. Okay. My ears perked up as I heard the voice of Jonathan Rose explain what would happen if we removed all spiritual experiences from the Bible. How much of it would we have left? One of my research questions was, at what point did we stop having visions or messages? I was literally just having a conversation with my friend Maddie, and he said, yeah, it was like all of a sudden Jesus came and nobody could hear anything anymore. Yeah. And I said, there's a video about that. You need to check the Left Eye channel. And so I was, when did these things become a symptom in the DSM manual, which is the diagnostic manual for mental health? So Mr. Rose continued, Dr. Rose, sorry, I didn't know. Okay, and I wondered why he couldn't be my therapist. Because I'm like, my parents spent $300 a week on therapy, and I just had to watch this.
That might be a good gig for you.
That's good. I like that.
You
might
get
a lot of ideas here. This
is good. Job of like online therapy.
Yeah.
My experiences started in 2014. To 2015, and it was actually in one of the healthiest times in my life. I was going to acupuncture and I was healing in just all aspects. One morning I let out sort of a wail cry, and it was something unidentifiable. It was terrifying. I was hunched over in tears. I called my father and I said, something really strange just happened. He said, you're having an anxiety attack. And I said, no, I don't think so. And he said, don't forget salt for electrolytes. And it was like the last conversation I remember having with him before things sort of spiraled from there. It was as if I was given a new set of eyes, some sights extremely pleasant and others not so pleasant. I have been on a search ever since to find out what happened to me, if for no other reason than myself, but obviously provide answers to my children and my family. These episodes, Is It Safe to Talk to Spirits and Spiritual Warfare, the battle between heaven and hell, should be some sort of fundamental guidebook. If we buy a new phone or we read the book, if we buy a new phone, we read the book on how to use it, right? Or if we get a cat, like I just got some kittens and I had to study on what they ate and what, am I doing it right? I don't want to mess them up.
You don't just want to go into that blind, and trial and error.
So why is it that when we're just suddenly born, we have little knowledge of how to take care of ourselves? What even makes us up, the molecules, the cellular structures, the spiritual and physical aspects of our lives. It's never really been explained to me. You see ghost tours and paranormal activity, and it's just a movie, right? And if that movie somehow becomes reality, then we're ill. And there's not much of an in-between or a balance. And you get really stuck. I got really stuck. So my other objective in studying the experiences was to definitely prevent them from happening again. If I break my leg off a ladder, I'm probably not going to jump, use the ladder next Saturday because, I broke my leg. So I want to know, obviously no one really enjoys waking up in the middle of the night to ghosts in their bedroom or, just some of the kind of wackier aspects of it.
This goes back to, the point of the theme of our show, which is how does spirituality help in life? And we think about it makes me nicer to people, which is true, but also in the realm you're talking about, that these like paranormal or spiritual, or whatever you want to call them, experiences, that this stuff is just way like uncharted, and that you're looking for something that can add some structure,
Yeah. And a lot of other explanations.
I went the first time when all this happened, it was really rushed. I didn't have a guide. I didn't have anyone to talk to. I didn't know, I was navigating it. So I think fear really took over that. And then this past time in May, it was really intense, but I was very calm because I knew enough. I hadn't seen you guys yet, but I just knew enough after 2 years of reading over my stuff that I should just stay as calm as possible. And then I was wondering, can I bring that to someone else who's suffering? Can I, give them some ideas or methods? And who am I? Because I don't even know if I'm doing it right, So it goes on to say, obviously no one enjoys waking up and dealing with what I call symptoms that they now classify as sort of schizophrenic. How could I avoid something that I didn't know much about? If I wanted to avoid a sunburn, I know to wear a hat, but what could I do to protect me from this? When Curtis and Jonathan explained things from divine providence, his words resonated with me as if a medical doctor was explaining cancer. Not only did the video provide explanations that greatly improved my faith, especially in the tones that they were discussed, but it greatly improved my health as well. And I'm telling you, it felt like we were all family. I started wondering if there were other people like me. Is there like a community people can turn to in spiritual crisis? Well, look no further and have no fear, because off the left eye is here.
Slogan.
Okay, I'm very corny. I meant to warn you guys.
But that's why are we doing these community chats? It's because everybody's looking for a way to talk to other people who are in the same kind of world. So I mean that's the point of it.
Yeah.
It's a touchy subject. I get kicked off the dinner tables. It's like, man, tone it down. We just want to talk about the TV show.
Right.
So, okay. These couple of videos and so many others on the topic made me really excited. There's something to be said about knowing the truth within. If I had this knowledge beforehand, I might have been better prepared for these types of things. Even the knowledge of demons, as if validating, giving me sort of credit to my case, the way I could nod in agreement to what Swedenborg was saying gave me the liberty and freedom to accept that as reality, even if later my theory or reality changes. Because Swedenborg had already gone through it, it meant that I was not alone. I would never wish what happened to me to happen to anyone else, and if it does, I hope they're guided to this education. So if anyone is struggling with troubling thoughts, anxiety, and you question, where do these thoughts come from? If we could identify their true form in the very beginning, they won't manifest into what I experienced, I believe. I believe when you explained the different types of spirits and, even how our thoughts manifest, and we all hear that phrase, your thoughts become words. Right. But even to know that, if you're getting a sort of a bad feeling or anxiety about something, consider where you are, consider what people are there, or I don't think we're as mindful as we could be. So I think we're trying to bring that back.
So, and I just want to say, John May has just said a moment ago, Leanne, totally agree. There's a certain depth of spiritual therapy here. So the ideas are sort of feeling that that's a role that they play. Sean Vogel said, do you think it's normal to feel so isolated when finding your spirituality? It may well be a part of it. Swedenborg seemed to go through a pretty isolated period.
Right.
Austin Paranormal Research said, hi, Curtis and team. So anyway, I just wanted to talk to those people a little bit. And Is Cosmic said, Leanne's experience resonated with me. Yes, I trust Swedenborg in this show more than most else. Reading the Bible has made me anxious, and I've learned to follow that as an indication not to read it. So I think this is what Craig is saying. Even though there's all kinds of cool stuff in the Bible, what's right for you at the time is right for you at the time. You know.
That's right, and how you frame it and everything.
Exactly, what it means to you. So okay, Lee, do you those were the top. Those are the first two. Do you have another sheet for us?
I do.
Great.
Okay, here's this one.
Spiritual meaning of numbers.
The meaning of numbers.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then let's see the one on the bottom.
Oh wait.
Oh, that's just
no. That's one by itself. All right, great.
Yeah, it's a short one.
Okay, cool.
Cool. One of the craziest things that happened in these times were my newly improved math skills. I equated it to the movie A Beautiful Mind. The numbers seemed to have meaning, though I had no idea what they were. All I could remember was childlike stuff, sort of, 7, 8, 9. So is 7 bad or is 8 bad? True story. Again, I didn't have any idea what was going on. Everything just made sense in no sense at all. My mother came to me one time and she said, what's with the numbers? And I was like, I don't know. I was as stunned as she was, as if there was something wrong with my newfound algebra skills. I told her I didn't know because it was starting to hit me that perhaps there might be something wrong with me. Literally, the second video I saw of you guys following a short introduction clip off the left eye was numbers. I couldn't even hit play. I was so stunned. I couldn't even believe the synchronicity. This has to be something really weird, I bet, some voodoo stuff. I took a deep breath and prepared myself for the worst, to hear some theory or spooky stuff. And as if God hit play, there it was. God said, oh, by the way, you asked me about those numbers a while back. Here, take a look.
Luckily, not as another slogan, not as spooky as you think.
Yes, that's
off
right.
The left eye.
That's right.
And it's like he didn't forget that I wanted to know. He was just waiting for me to calm down so I could see the video. You know?
Right. By the way, that's right.
I had my own journals. Well, most of the time it is. It's just us not paying attention, me personally.
Right.
I had my own journals and notes where the numbers had messages. And it's not as spooky as you think. I gave this example of I would do an addition problem and it would say something like H2O. It reminded me that maybe I hadn't drank water. Maybe my guide was like, hey, hydrate yourself. And I told myself, well, that's not a bad thing, to play around with this. I just didn't want to obsess over it. But it was a little freaky in the beginning. I even researched mental connections because it felt like you guys were looking over my shoulder and reading my journals and then making a show just for me to show me the answers.
We will get people saying oh, I was just wondering on this topic, and then this show popped up.
That is amazing.
We just we'll get with Carl and Chelsea and other people and decide here's the shows we want to have on tap, and maybe there's providence in all of it.
Yeah, it's amazing how that works. That's really fun.
Cool.
Even when Craig opened up, I said I didn't add it to this group. I mean, later on, but I had written about the nature and the cellular structures and how you see God. I said, that is so cool. We're on the same levels.
That's right. There you go.
So the numbers video gave me the freedom, again, back to the freedom, to continue conversing with God. If this is what made sense, even at the time to me, it was my personal decision to go ahead and move forward with it. It was then that I came across the ancient Hebrew language. And though my grandparents tried to teach me my Jewish heritage, I never took it seriously. I learned that numbers correlate with letters. What? I can't tell you how confusing it is to feel like you can communicate with spiritual, with God or spirits, but having the world tell you that you can't. You guys gave me the freedom and almost permission to have a spiritual conversation again, which gives me the opportunity to actually pay attention to them rather than brush them off as people would have me do, or the average person would have us do. Which leads me to the next video. It was sort of a spiritual freedom I was seeking. And hey, off the left eye did one of those too.
Yeah, there we go. So I bet it's going to be spiritual freedom.
You think that's the one?
Yeah, I think it's going to
You
be.
think so?
You think so?
All right, let's see.
Are you trying to be psychic?
I'm working on it. Yeah. Oh, when religion went wrong, and then spiritual freedom. A couple. When religion went wrong, that's a bit of an older.
That is. Yeah,
episode
that's
in
right.
here, so, okay, cool. So yeah, what was moving to you about those?
Okay, this is the last one, I promise. When I spoke of the day my reality started shifting, it was if I said I had a new set of eyes. And these eyes were sort of in me. It was just changing my perspective involuntarily to get a different point of view of things. Like I was some sort of reviewer or magnifying glass for God. It started very subtly, like a sudden aversion to meat. A plate of chicken would bring me to tears. I could taste chemicals and liquids like Gatorade, and alcohol made me absolutely sick to my stomach, even the smell of it. And the industry itself was something I was quite angry at. I was literally preaching in the middle of a summer day on a busy road in Ocala, which is where we live, which I would normally never, ever do, by the way. It took a lot of nerve just to come on the show. So I'm seeing the world through these lenses, and just as some person of authority or a preacher, I was screaming, look at this. This is not how it's supposed to be. There's trash everywhere. I can't even breathe this oxygen anymore. And then the sunlight was so hot, I felt like I was burning. And then I see another side of humanity as I'm walking along this busy road, coming across a homeless man, and I'm screaming, this guy has one leg. He's homeless. He's in the rain. Why? Can you tell me why? And I would break out. It's so embarrassing, but I did it. I would break out in some song and sing like Dear Mr. President by Pink, who I believed we were cosmically related somehow. And it was pretty intense and bizarre. I was telling strangers if they wanted to understand true addiction behavior, to take sugar out of their diet for just 10 days. Like really weird stuff. Like, who am I? All of a sudden, I'm Dr. Atkins.
Right.
So I was simplifying the world's problems in one big ball, and I couldn't stop. I was on the side of the road screaming, when Jesus said to give to the church, he meant us, not a building. He meant take care of each other. If I hit a BOGO sale at the grocery store, I give you my extras and, I'll feed you. You're all just driving right by, not a care in the world. So it was very sad and emotional. I was crying. And I went up to a stranger and I was just I just fell to the knees and I said, we're doing it all wrong. We've got to go back. We're doing it. We messed it all up. And they're looking at me like, what happened? So naturally, I got some mental health help after that. But the interesting thing about it was when I went on these tangents, I made sense of it through Swedenborg that these were actually my core beliefs. So it was my inner self coming out at such a, if you have a water hose that's kinked, when you unkink it, it goes really fast.
It goes flying. Yeah, right.
And if you're not prepared, your hose goes crazy. And I think that's really what the connection made. It just was too fast or something. So to wrap it up, I had grown in a diverse household. I had Jewish grandparents, a Catholic stepfamily, exposure to the Baptists, the Jehovah's Witnesses, even paganism, everything I could remember, because ever since I was a little girl, I just wanted to know about God. And I just wanted to know the truth and nothing but the truth. But be careful what you wish for. And I saw a video on spiritual freedom. I guess I could relate to everything Swedenborg was saying. I felt silly, though, like I'm no biblical scholar and certainly no scientist. But if it fit, then I guess I had to wear it. I set out to take all of my experiences using the video spirals to figure out how to write my own spiritual experiences and maybe turn it into a book. I decided to make it fiction, though, because it just sounds too crazy to be true, right? Off the left eye gave me the spiritual freedom I desperately needed to find peace in my life. I had to accept myself for who I was. And I had never known who she was, so I had to get to meet her. I formed a crucial component that I had not all my life, a love for myself. You guys gave such a great presentation on the boundaries of love in that Radical Love video. Cultivating that love has created a much needed balance, freedom from the constraints mentioned on the poster. And I had to write you guys and tell you thank you. I think you saved my life, literally. And now I want to save other people's lives too, because they say the truth will set you free. Woo! That's it. Yay!
Well, so a couple things. First of all, thanks so much for being willing to share your story. And it's personal, but it's real, and so that's awesome. And of course, I love the idea that the concepts could be not just so helpful to you, but put you in a place now where you're like, oh, I want to help somebody else out. That's like full circle. It's even going beyond helping an individual. So that sounds like a ride that you were on, and I just appreciate getting to hear about it. And I'm glad that you're feeling like, oh yeah, I'm in a good place, and I'm gonna make a difference. So thank you so much.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
like
much.
the
I really
fact
appreciate it.
The shows that you picked are quite different from each other. I mean, sometimes we do shows that are sort of like this and shows that are sort of like that, but you kind of hit the gamut there with your top 5, so that was fun.
Thank you. I didn't even see the topic until I had completed this, and it just jived. Just synchronicity again, just bringing it up.
Yeah, right. Oh, seriously.
Just
cool.
bringing it up.
Well, Lee, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
For being willing, and watch this video sometime, because a lot of people are saying nice things in the comments there, so you can see.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate anybody listening. Thank you.
All right.
Oh, and do you want to talk about her link?
We have if you want to hear more of Lee's story. Hey, good remembering. We have
this was a surprise to me, by the way. I didn't even know this, you guys.
Yeah, link. We'd asked her to write out more of her story, and we have a link to it on Swedenborg.com, so you can check out. In the description of this video, there's a link there. You can read a little more, because I know that the more I hear about what other people go through, the more my own story makes sense, and the more it makes me want to go out and help and do things. So,
yes,
all right,
absolutely.
Lee, thank you so much.
Thanks, Lee.
Talk to you later.
Appreciate it, you guys. It's been the best day ever. Bye.
All right, see ya.
Okay.
So, hey, John May made a $12 super chat.
Whoa,
so let's give him a little round of applause. Thank you so much, John. Really glad that you feel like, hey, man, this is something that's worth making possible. Swedenborg Foundation is a nonprofit, so this is how we do what we do. Dora said thanks, Leanne. And Ghana said, great story. Would love to share mine someday. So the headphones.
All right.
Those were great. I mean, I think we gave the people what they want by putting those headphones
Wearing
on.
those, so yeah.
Yeah.
Went the extra mile.
So that's been pretty awesome talking to people. But, once you start doing it, you can't get enough of it. So I think let's bring in more guests.
That sounds good.
Actually, we got one more buddy
Share
with
the
us
love.
here.
Share the love.
Scott, you want to come on over? This is Scott from Seattle.
Hey,
what's up, man? Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Hey, people are going to be wondering, so you want to just talk a little bit about what you got here?
I just wanted to show that I craft these handmade American-style didgeridoos.
Nice.
Of course, I know we have some people from Australia on board, possibly even tonight. We wanted to say hello, Australia, and hello to everybody there. Bless you for coming on the show. I think it's one of the best things that's ever hit the airwaves, or do they call it airwaves anymore? That's the old school.
It's good.
I mean, I don't know what people call anything. Yeah, airwaves.
It's got a good correspondent.
But anyway, I've been playing this for a while, but this isn't really about what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to talk about how incredible the show has helped me change a lot of things that weren't working for me. Oh, cool. Especially some of the things like rage, anger, and I spent most of my life playing music, being a professional musician, and I fueled myself with my alcoholism. And since I have been sober, it has just been the most tremendous thing to tune into your show and hear all the intricate things that Swedenborg says about the evil spirits that actually influence us when we're under the throes of addiction. And it's really true.
Wow.
Because I'm a living example of, one minute I can be a cool guy playing this didge. The next minute I can be railing at something, and I'm not actually there.
Okay.
I lose myself. It's almost as if something has taken over me.
Taken over you. Yeah.
To tell you the truth, the spiritual world is so powerful, especially the negative side when we become addicted. But somehow God gave me the blessings of the most incredible love that was able to get me to wake up and to realize that I couldn't go anywhere without actually having a sane, quiet, loving, nourishing mind that had empathy towards people. Because I was always putting people down, judging myself, not being able to forgive myself. And so especially that program that said the lies evil spirits tell us.
Oh, yeah, right.
That spoke directly to my heart.
That's cool.
And I just have had one of the most incredible experiences here in the Swedenborgian community. And so I just want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. There's so many people out there that are embracing this. And thanks to all the people that
we see you guys right there.
I just love that one.
I did see a comment, something about earlier where somebody said, what about somebody that gets randomly killed? Is that an act of God really or something?
Okay.
But I always thought Swedenborg says, and Jonathan, tell me if I'm right or not, but that is like when it is our time to cross over the veil, it's because all of our earthly purposes have sort of possibly stagnated, or there's this new chapter in our life where the Lord is creating and bringing us into a new purpose in life. And so he's called us home, whether it's some terrible thing happening out there or something that maybe possibly they inflicted themselves or some war or whatever. But it's like one of those situations where they were called to more useful duty. Is that?
It's not random.
It's understood and foreseen. And I also want to just echo what you were saying before, that that is so important. I think it's so crucial to this show, that idea that you were saying, that to realize this is not me, like I'm having this feeling, I'm having this desire, I'm having this rage or this appetite for whatever.
Well, and so Angel Shining,
it's not me.
She just said, Scott, that happens to me in heavy traffic, meaning getting taken over. They are trying to kill me, driving 100 miles per hour and such. The devil comes out of me, right? So people are like, this is really something that's trying to mess with it.
I was just talking to Jonathan today about that too.
That very thing, that's right.
The same thing happened to me in the traffic at certain times, and when you have somebody right on your bumper or something, and it just triggers, and all of a sudden I lose that capability of being empathetic. Maybe they're in a rush, or the one thing that brings me back is realizing whatever they are doing to me, I've done to somebody else on the road. And so if I can only put myself in that place of remembering, I remember when I was in a rush and I tailgated that one guy and he got mad or whatever, and I just wanted to flip him off or something like that. But bad things happen on the road if you subject yourself to listening. And so Swedenborg teaches you how to maintain and how to not feed the evil and feed the good.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can really get to that point where somebody comes up or pulls right out in front of you. You bless them. Bless you for doing that.
Bless those who
you almost
curse
killed me,
right.
but it's like I remember when I did that last
that's right.
year.
Well, one that I've used occasionally, Scott, is yelling out the window, I hope you go to the highest heaven.
Yeah, that's right. Swedenborg and road rage. Well, Donna Bratt said thank you for your story. And then Cosmic says, congrats, Scott. It's a huge achievement to avoid addiction, and I'm going through similar. I like visualizing the love dissolving through all dark spirits.
That's great.
Love, believe me, love will conquer all, and that's what Swedenborg's main topic is that we are love, and our ruling love will decide exactly if it's a heavenly love or if it's a hellish love. And if we build a heavenly love and we have the tools to do that, which this program gives you and other spiritual growth classes in the Swedenborgian movement, then you have the tools to actually go, yes, I am bigger than this voice telling me to act badly.
That's right.
And
so
now
that's right.
I'm
you have a little distance.
I'm acting kind of badly sometimes, but it's much better.
Progress.
And you have more self-knowledge.
More self-knowledge and awareness, and I'm told that I have some awareness, but you know what? It was just beautiful to help me, saying that you share the same thing sometimes in traffic like I do.
Yes.
Because it is
that
very
is
scary when people are rushing by you at 90 miles an hour in a 35-mile-an-hour zone, or during a school zone or something. You feel like, I need to teach him a lesson.
Yeah, right.
And that's not what you need to do. You need to remember your lesson, that you did that. You were capable of hurting somebody at the time. Luckily, you didn't. But just remember, have compassion. Maybe they were going to an emergency.
Right.
Or, Dunkin'
That's
Donuts.
right. Which is an emergency of its own kind. A Mind with a Heart said, this is so good. Thanks for all the sharing. Bonnie Gates said, I just decided the guy who is driving badly is telling us he needs our prayers. So finding some way to see it.
Bonnie.
That Swedenborg talked, you'd think like angels would be the ones who would condemn evil the most. Like they would see evil because we're
Right.
good. But I've said, as I said
most
before,
fed up with it.
yeah, but that Swedenborg says no. It's evil spirits that want to judge people. Angels want to try to see the best in it. Like Bonnie was just saying, the guy who's driving badly needs our prayers, right?
Yeah, that's right. We all need our prayers, and the biggest thing that I've learned here in over the continuing weeks, we have this forgiveness theme, and forgiving.
That's right.
It's been very hard for me to forgive myself when I have acted badly, or when I have come to running somebody off the. Actually, I've never run anybody off the road, but I've been close to that. Even just the thought of it gives me chills, and it's hard to forgive myself sometimes. And I measure myself on a very high bar, and yet, you know, I have now had the tools given to me on how to forgive, love myself more, and when we love ourselves more, we can only love our community more. We can stay inside the circle of love instead of separating it, going outside and saying, those people are bad, and man alive, they're not like us, you know, and like forget the term about civil war. We're not in a civil war in this country.
Right.
I kept saying that for a long time, but I really believe we're not. We're in a civil spiritual movement where we must up the bar and become more of a loving brother or sister to our communities.
Yeah,
love. Would you believe
more love?
You know, in the spiritual world, there's no time, and I think there's no time here either because it's already 9:06.
Get out.
John May says, "Who's the gentleman on the left?" This is the left. This is Scott. I just want to end with so Gonda says, "Thanks, great conversation, just what I needed." And I think that kind of brings us full circle because we're like, what's the point of this? The point is to give Gonda, who I know, Gonda, you're dealing with something tough right now that you had mentioned earlier in the chat. If we can give you something that you needed, then that's the point. So, Scott, I want to thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you guys so much.
Good.
Absolutely.
And God bless all the people out there.
That's
safe
right.
travels, and really don't speed like I...
That's right. John says Scott is a cool dude. I agree. And so coming up, you were talking about forgiveness. So next Monday... Forgive me for this, everyone. We're off. There's not a show next Monday.
What?
Yeah, there's not a show. But the following Monday, we are going to be doing a show about forgiveness.
Yeah.
So that should be a great one. And thank you, everyone, so much for watching and your comments. It just made this all awesome. It's great to be part of the community with you. And thanks to Dr. Jonathan Rose for coming on the program.
You're the best, man.
Love you all. And we'll see you 2 weeks from now.